Okay, so for whatever reason, half of the Blackboard Ultra that we went through just didn't record. So we spent the rest of the day of that lesson just talking about like what it means to be a Canadian, talking about those questions, that sort of stuff. And then I talked a little bit about the editorial. So what I'm going to do now is just go over that with the students who were unable to make it in this quick little video so that hopefully you will have the same information that everybody else did. So, okay, there's my wedding. Okay, so we are on our Blackboard. When we finish everything that's in this Canadian Perspectives unit, what you're going to do is you're going to go to this next folder. It's called Writing an Editorial. So this editorial is basically writing an opinion piece about something that you think is important that has to do with being a Canadian. So our prompt is here, spent the last week looking at a variety of Canadian perspectives, trying to understand how different Canadians see the world differently. Apparently I like the word different. Your task is to write an editorial on this topic. So what I want you to do, choose something about being Canadian that stood out to you from this unit. What is your opinion on that issue? Think about how you can write an opinion piece that causes others to think critically about what you have written. A key point thing here is don't oppress or offend any readers. You're not going to write anything that's deliberately incendiary, but based on the things that you guys have already used as your responses, I know that you're pretty mature and respectful, so I'm not too worried about that. But you want to make sure you're being polite and kind. So as you go through this, you'll come up with a couple of things here. This page talks about what an editorial is, what's the purpose of an editorial. It also tells you all of the things that you're going to have in an editorial. So you've got your introduction, your body, and your conclusion. An objective explanation of the issue. So basically we're not having bias to start off with. An opinion piece does allow for bias, but at the beginning, because it's an explanation of a news piece, you want to include facts and tell us about what's happening in an unbiased way. It should be timely, something that's happening now and is relevant to now. You're not going to be writing about the War of 1812. Once you've done that, you're going to share some opinions from the opposing viewpoint. So I talked a little bit about this in that if you were writing something that is like deals with human rights, you're not going to share the opinions of the opposing viewpoint because that's just not appropriate. If you were writing something like the Maple Leafs is the best hockey team, then you can say something from the opposing viewpoint because you're not oppressing a person. So just know what content you are choosing to write about and make sure that you're being respectful and not oppressing humans. You're going to then share your opinions about that topic. Maple Leafs being the best team because da-da-da-da-da-da. And you can also then, after that, offer alternative solutions to the problem or the issue being criticized. This is really, again, dependent on what topic you're writing about. If you're just talking about trying to convince people to believe that the Maple Leafs are the best team, you're not going to be talking about a problem. But I remember the last time I taught this, students were talking about the COVID pandemic. This was right before shutdown happened. And so they offered some solutions to that. So that's how you would address sort of that situation. So you need to know what your topic is and if this problem part would fit into it. So number 4 and number 6, dependent on what you're writing, you may or may not include those. Also know that I'm always here. So if you're not sure, if you're like, hey, I'm writing about this topic, but I don't know if I need to include an alternative viewpoint, just, send me a quick email. I'll look it over, give me a phone call. We can talk it out. The last thing you're going to do is have a solid conclusion. So there's 4 different types of editorials. You can explain or interpret something. You can criticize something. You can persuade something, or you can praise. So depending on what you're choosing to write, this is the angle that you should go with. Think about that before you start writing it. Are you trying to criticize something? If so, you should use language that is critical. If you're trying to praise something, you should use glowing language. Okay, you're going to go to the next one. We've got some examples here. This is a really meta example. It tells you how to write an editorial by writing an editorial. So look through that. It'll help you. Okay. We've got some steps here. So basically this is the parts of an editorial, and I've just broken them down into steps. So there's a couple more of them, but this tells you exactly what you need to do. So you're picking a significant topic. Because it is a news piece, you should have information and facts. You do need to do research on this topic, because if you were writing about the Maple Leafs, I don't follow hockey, so I don't know why I keep saying this, but if you were going to write about the Maple Leafs, you would want to have some facts and data before you give your opinion. Again, you can do all of these types of things. This part's the interesting part. Concede a point of the opposition. So maybe you're saying, all right, some people think that the Bruins are the best team. Yeah, they've got a great goalie. I don't know if that's true. But the Leafs are better because of da-da-da-da-da. So that should be in there as well. Another really important part is this 500 words. Editorials are short and sweet. You want to make sure that you're keeping it to about 2 pages double-spaced. Double-spaced. No longer than that. That is one of the key markers of an editorial. This is just a sample structure of how to go through that. This page has your graphic organizer. When you click on it, this will help you to write it. Oops, I want to open that. Please open. Here it is. So this is how you'll prepare to write that. Nice little easy thing. Okay, this is where you're going to submit it. Okay, not going to write submission. You're going to go to browse my computer, upload the file from there. So you click on that, da-da-da-da-da, you put it in there, good to go. Actually, one thing that I want to also talk about, I'll go back really quickly. Whoop. Ignore what I'm doing right now. Is the rubric. I haven't uploaded it as well yet. It will be uploaded very soon because I have it. I just have to retype it. It's really annoying. But this is out of 60 marks, so make sure that you are reading through your rubric. And then the last thing you're going to do, once you have received your essay back from me, not an essay, editorial, you're going to fill in this self-assessment. So what are you proud of? So I did this thing really well in my writing. Based on the feedback, what goals, and what did you learn about the way that you write? So you need to complete this once you've finished it. So don't forget to go back and do this piece. So that is all the stuff for the editorial. Next time we have our Blackboard meeting, I will hopefully not forget, or I don't know what happened. For whatever reason, when we go into breakout rooms, it just kind of like kicks people out. So this was my quick like, I have to get this done for the students that missed. So hopefully that won't happen again, and you'll be able to watch the whole Blackboard meeting. So make sure you're paying attention for that.